Welcome back to the Loyal Opposition Podcast, where we try to apply common sense to the chaos. Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtain on the big budget protest hitting the nation this weekend. They're calling it the No Kings protest. Catchy name, huh? Sounds rebellious. But don't let the branding fool you. This isn't your cousin's college sit in. This is a $2.1 billion tantrum dressed up in protest signs and artisanal lattes. While President Trump, spry as ever at 79, throws tanks and jets into a birthday bash in D.C., a coalition of 1,900 coordinated protests will be flooding cities across our country, and they'll be shouting, "No thrones, no crowns, no kings." Spontaneous, right? Nah, it's more choreographed than a Beyonce concert. They had a series of virtual town halls recently, and guess who popped up? Randy Weingarten, head of the American Federation of Teachers. She earns about $475,000 a year. Of course, there's Al Sharpton bringing home $648,000 a year in all his media empire. And there's Anthony Romero from the ACLU. He makes about 1.3 million per year. And they're all practically giddy, like kids before Christmas, if Christmas came with protest signs and matching t-shirts. Grassroots? Nah, this is a rooftop protest funding top shelf tax deductible outrage. Now, who's paying for all this? Well, there's 198 organizations that I can count so far, $2.1 billion in combined revenue, 16 PACs with political action committees, that is, with $19.4 million invested, 18 unions with $1.1 billion invested, 76 political nonprofits, 47 nonpartisan charities, plus ties to you know who, George Soros and his Open Society Foundation. Now, look, I support the First Amendment. Protest away. March in all the peaceful protests that you want. But don't pretend this is some scrappy underdog movement. This is a well oiled, well planned, well funded machine. These same groups are the ones who staged the Tesla takedown and the hands off movement. They're the crowned royalty of the nonprofit world, fighting tyranny from their boardrooms. So while they chant no kings, they're sipping on kombucha tea on $1 million salaries and live streaming their revolution from Brooklyn apartments. Now, let's not get it twisted. Most people out there, some of them just disagree with Trump's policies. And yes, maybe rolling tanks down Constitution Avenue is a bit much to take. But we've seen this film before. Start with a peaceful protest, add some professional agitators, and suddenly CVS is on fire and the media is whispering, mostly peaceful. Just last week in Los Angeles, protesters showed up with hammers and leaf blowers. Leaf blowers? What is this, a riot or a landscaping job? Organizers say they're all about nonviolence. They're even offering de escalation training. How sweet. That's like handing out squirt guns before a forest fire. So, by the way, CNN just put out a stat that the protesters don't want you to see.
Start off on the fact that immigrant citizens, immigrant voters, foreign-born voters have gone tremendously to the right on this issue in 2024 and 2025 versus where they were in 2020. Closest to or trust more in immigration. You go back to 2020. Democrats, get this, held a 32-point lead on this issue. Immigrant voters were in the Democratic camp. Jump forward to 2024, 2025. Look at that shift, a 40-point shift to the right among immigrant voters. Republicans now lead on this issue by 8 points over Democrats, more so than any other group that I could find. The group of voters who became more hawkish on immigration were in fact immigrants themselves, immigrants who are registered to vote in this country.
Legal immigrants are swinging towards Trump in record numbers. Turns out that when you come here the right way, you're kind of not very thrilled about people cutting the line. Imagine that. Oh well, they're skipping D.C. tomorrow. Instead, their flagship protest will be marching through Philadelphia, from Love Park to the Art Museum. Big speeches, big drama, and big donors. Look, if you're marching this weekend, be safe, be smart. Ask yourself, who's paying for this? And if you're just trying to enjoy your Saturday, then maybe you want to check out nokings.org before firing up your barbecue grill, just to steer clear of the peaceful roadblocks. Well, this has been the Loyal Opposition Podcast. If you like what you heard, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons share it with your friends. I'd love to hear your opinion, so drop me a line if you have time. Otherwise, stay skeptical, stay civil, and remember, freedom isn't free.